Millions of different types of living things have been identified, and scientists have studied and classified them into groups. These microscopic bits of life are one group. They live almost everywhere. They are microbes, and most often live where there is water. The other three groups are fungi, plants, and animals. Fungi do much of the world's cleanup. Fungi live on dead plants and animals. They can be found on dead trees and on lawns, living on dead material in the soil. Plants are another group. Plants are a large food source. Animals are the third group of large living things. All animals are subdivided into two groups. One group are those with a backbone, such as fish, lizards, frogs, birds, and mammals. These animals with a backbone are called vertebrates. The other group of animals are those without backbones, the invertebrates. Invertebrates include insects, snails, jellyfish, and ocean tide pool animals. Most invertebrates are small animals and are not as complicated as the vertebrates. Sponges are the simplest of all the animals. All sponges live in water. Many live in shallow ocean water. Sponges do not move about. Some form a layer on rocks, while others are round and fasten themselves to the bottom. The next group of animals includes the jellyfish and anemones. They are always found in water, and most often in ocean water. They are colored many colors and have many shapes. All these animals have hollow, cup-shaped, or tubular bodies with one opening into a hollow body. They also have finger-like tentacles with tiny, invisible, stinging cells that they use to capture prey and to protect themselves. Anemone cnidarians are animals with stinging cells. These sea anemones are cnidarians. These animals are called anemones because they look like flowers. This crab causes the anemone to partly close. This shows that the anemone has nerves and muscles. Anemones usually fasten themselves to a rock in a tide pool. However, they can move slowly from one place to another. Jellyfish swim freely in the ocean. Jellyfish are cnidarians. They can cause painful stings and, in a few cases, deadly stings to swimmers. The jellyfish may be almost transparent, but it has nerves and muscles, allowing it to feel and move. Corals are animals living in a colony and grow in warm ocean water. Corals have stinging cells and are cnidarians. The coral itself is a soft animal, but produces a hard rock-like shell around and beneath as it grows. Hydra is a cnidarian which lives in fresh water and is so small it can hardly be seen without a microscope. The animals we call worms have bodies that are more complicated. Worms are classified into three groups. Flatworms are in the first group. Flatworms are called planaria. They are the simplest animals to have a true head with simple eyes and a kind of simple brain. Some flatworms also have a digestive system. Most flatworms, including this tapeworm, are parasites living inside the bodies of other animals. Roundworms are the second group. They live almost everywhere, and many are parasites found in other living things. The most complex of the worms is the third group, the segmented worms. The common earthworm is a segmented worm. Earthworms have a complicated digestive system, as well as a circulatory system, with blood vessels and 5 pairs of hearts, which can be seen beating. A plume worm is segmented and lives in the ocean. It builds a tube to live in and has plumes on the end of its body. The plumes can be extended and are used for breathing and to capture food. Some invertebrate animals are protected by a hard outer covering. Echinoderms are spiny, skinned animals. These echinoderms are called sea urchins. Sea urchins are covered with spines and can often be found along rocky shores. Sea urchins have long, slim, tube feet with a small suction cup at the end. The tube feet can be seen waving about. The tube feet are used for moving and holding. Starfish are also spiny-skinned animals with short knob-like spines. On its underside, the starfish has short tube feet that it uses to move about and to capture food. The scallops belong to a group of invertebrates called mollusks. Most mollusks have a hard shell that protects their bodies. This kind of mollusk has 2 shells that are hinged together, allowing it to open and close its 2 shells. Snails are another type of mollusk. Snails are found where it is damp or in water. Many live in the ocean. Snails have either 1 shell or no shell. A snail without a shell is called a slug. Slugs may be very colorful and beautiful. These slugs live in the ocean. Squid are mollusks too. Squid live in the ocean and swim in the open ocean. They have an internal shell which is not visible. A close relative of the squid is this octopus. The octopus does not have a shell. An octopus uses its long tentacles for moving and capturing food. This is a lobster. Lobsters also live in the ocean. It is a member of the group of invertebrates that have the most complex body structure of any of the invertebrates. The members of this group are called arthropods. All arthropods have 2 or more body parts, with a hard body covering called an exoskeleton or outer skeleton. The word arthropod means jointed legs. All arthropods have jointed legs. The freshwater crayfish and ocean crabs are both arthropods. This is a hermit crab. Even though the hermit crab has its own hard outer covering, it finds an empty shell and backs into it. the hermit crab's body has evolved to fit the spiral of the snail's shell. Barnacles are arthropods that fasten themselves down and make a shell around their bodies. Their long, slender legs reach out to draw in food. Barnacles live on rocks, the bottoms of boats, or wherever there is a place to fasten themselves. Insects are arthropods. There is a similarity between this grasshopper and the lobster you saw earlier. An insect has a hard outer skeleton. The skeleton is jointed. All insects have 3 main body parts and 6 jointed legs. As an insect grows, it becomes too large for its skeleton. When that happens, a new covering develops inside the old one. Then the old covering splits open and the insect crawls out. At first, the new covering is soft, but it soon swells and hardens into a new, slightly larger size. Most insects metamorphize as they go through life. This caterpillar is an insect hatched from an egg laid by a female insect. The caterpillar spends much of its time eating and growing. The caterpillar spins a thread to attach itself to a twig. Later, it changes into the chrysalis stage. In the chrysalis stage, the insect does not move about, but changes are happening inside the chrysalis. The chrysalis splits open and an adult emerges. Like this butterfly, most adult insects have wings, usually 2 pairs. Insects are the only invertebrate animals able to fly. There are more than 1 million species of known insects, more than twice as many as all the other animal species combined. Other animals in the arthropod group are the centipede, the millipede, and the spider. The body of a millipede has several sections. Each section has 2 pairs of legs. A centipede is a close relative of the millipede. However, it has only 1 pair of legs per segment. Spiders look something like insects. However, spiders have 8 legs and 2 main body parts. Spiders also spin webs for catching insects. Animals without backbones, the invertebrates, are a large group of animals that are usually quite small but very important in the animal kingdom.